welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the third episode in my Houseplant Tour Summer 2022 series. Thus far, we have been throughout my living room and inside of my IKEA cabinet. And today we are going about my office. But I've also semi-commandeered the space by putting lots of plants in it, so I thought I would show them to you today. If you don't know me already, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet, so if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. Right, let's look at the office. So this is the office. It doesn't look like much anymore because I recently got rid of my big monstera that was there. But this shelf is proper packed full. All the way down to the bottom, all of those are prop boxes. Like, it is full in here. I don't think, I maybe could fit one more plant right there. But other than that, it's jam-packed. So let's have a look at what's in here. Let's start out with the plants on the desk. These ones here are getting the most light in this room. They're right by a southwest facing window, so afternoon light kind of goes on these plants, and the banana plant absolutely freaking loves that. And I think it's doing actually pretty okay. This was one that I chopped back to nearly nothing, and since then it has grown so much better, and like it's even popping out a new leaf right now, which is amazing. It did have a tiny bout of thrips recently, so I've been dealing with that, but for the most part I think it's fine. I've just been prevent-doing it every couple of weeks for a little while now. Behind it is one of my Monstera albos. I'm pretty sure this is a Borsigiana. It's kind of like my quote-unquote mother plant. I've taken lots of cuttings from it to give to other people, and it's actually just popped out this new leaf from a whole new growth point. You can see this leaf is not hardened off yet, and unfortunately it's not got any fenestrations, but it's got some really nice coloring. I love these sort of like more marbly albo leaves. I find that they're a lot easier to manage and take care of. They're less maintenance than albo leaves that are like all white, because those just go brown and lack of humidity, so I like this one a lot. Over here we've got a cast iron plant. I freaking love this thing. I literally set it and forget it, and it doesn't need that much water, it doesn't need that much light or humidity or care. It can live in a wide range of temperatures, and I just love how freaking easy it is. It makes my life really easy, and especially these plants in the office. I don't like to have to water them loads because when Joe's working from home, it gets a little bit difficult to kind of like work around his schedule. But I just love how tall this one is. It has been growing a few new leaves in the past couple years, but not loads. But I don't need it to grow that fast. It's already quite a decent size, so I'm happy with it as it is. On top of the litter box, I have a few plants quarantining. This is where I've put all the plants that I got from my friend who was moving away, and this one did have spider mites, and I wasn't sure about the others, but since they were all coming from the same collection, I made sure to put them all in the same place, and I've been treating all of them as if they had spider mites. I'm pretty sure the spider mites are gone at this point, which is great because my variegated aspidistra has seen a little bit of better days. These leaves have dried out a bit, I think because of the isopropyl alcohol that I was using, but I think they were damaged as well, so I'm not like super mad about it. I would be mad if I lost this leaf though, because this leaf is literally my favorite. Like, look at that white stripe in there. And this one as well is another really nice one. Unfortunately, going a bit brown at the tips, but otherwise it's a really nice plant. I'm hoping that once the spider mite issue has gone away, I can probably move it next to the other one, the other cast iron, because I think they would look really nice together. Back there, kind of in a dark corner right now, probably too dark for this plant, is an Epiphragmum aurum Snow Queen or Snow Queen pothos, aka I'm pretty sure they're just very highly variegated marble queens. Like I said, this spot's a little bit too dark for it just because they're highly variegated and they like to have higher light. Not direct light, but still higher light. But once the spider mite issue is definitely gone, I'm going to be moving these like and further integrating them into my collection. Here is kind of a sad pot of Rhaphidophora tetrasperma wet sticks. They did all have leaves at one point, but a lot of the leaves, like, I don't know, they got like root rot or something. They were overwatered. The leaves all just basically died back. So it's kind of just a pot of wet sticks now, which I'm not mad at, and it's starting to regrow. So once it regrows, it's gonna grow phenomenally, I'm sure, because Rhaphidophora tetraspermous grow like freaking weeds. This is another one that I cut back to nearly nothing. It is a Cebu blue pothos, and I cut it back when I was propagating the other one, and I didn't realize how amazing the root system was. If I can find a picture of the root system, I will put it in. But it has an amazing root system. I was just gonna chop and prop it for like parts, essentially. Since the root system was so good, I decided to keep it, and now it's growing more leaves and it's growing like a proper plant now. It's actually decently full. I'm a bit surprised that it's gotten this full, but I'm very, very, very happy with it. On the table all by its lonesome right now. It's a very big table for kind of a medium-sized plant. But this is one of the plants I got from Claire in our recent plant swap. Oh gosh, let me try and say this name. Thormatophyllum bipinnatifidum. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I've had to like rehearse that in my head about 1,000 times. Because if you watch that video, I suck at pronouncing those kind of big long words.
Thormatophyllum bipinnatifidum.
Thormatophyllum bipinnatifidum. I really, really like this plant. It's one she actually got in a skip. She found it in a skip during Storm Eunice, and it was trashed, basically. She cut it back to, I think, nothing, essentially. And since then, it has grown absolutely amazingly for her. And she's very kindly given one of them to me, which I feel so blessed by, because I know these plants have a special place in her heart because she did have to rescue them. So I feel really blessed to have this one. And like, it's just a mark of our beautiful friendship. If you're watching this, Claire, I love you, thank you. But yeah, I really love these sort of like funky leaves. They're just so different. I think it's also kind of known as a philodendron, but it grows so differently than philodendrons. It's got these like sort of, I don't know, they kind of remind me of like palm trees. I know they're not a palm at all, but they make me think of palm trees. But it's just a cool plant. I need to get it a like cash pot because it doesn't have one right now, or at least a saucer or something. But I just love it here. I think it looks really nice, and maybe it'll grow really big and just like fill this space. I suppose since I'm down here, I can kind of start at the bottom of the shelves. This is where I keep all of my soils and components and stuff. As you can see, I really like Soil Ninja. I've got several bags of their stuff. I am an affiliate with them. So if you fancy getting some Soil Ninja soil, use my code GOODGROWING for a 10% discount on your order, and that would be awesome for everyone. But yeah, just some soil and moss and stuff. In front of that, under what is normally a grow light, I think it's shifted a little bit recently, or I've moved this box, but this is my acclimation box. I don't think I'm going to take you in it today, nor the prop boxes, because they are like literally they're jam-packed. So maybe if you want to see a prop box / acclimation box tour, put this emoji down below in the comments and I can give a tour of these sort of boxes, because there's quite a lot in them, like an entire whole nother video worth of stuff. Also, I have these boxes down here because I don't want to put plants so close to the ground because of Cleo. She's a curious little kitty sometimes, and I find that if there's stuff too close to her access, she gets into it, unfortunately. So I try and keep things as out of reach as possible, and actually normally there's laundry here. This is kind of where we hang our laundry to dry, which does help give these plants a little bit more humidity, but I've moved it out for the sake of this video because it looks not nice and none of you need to see my knickers. So yeah. On the shelf above that, I actually have some cat safe plants at the front, again just in case Cleo decides she wants to get up into it. But I have my Maranta Lemon Lime, which is just in pon and growing incredibly. I think, like, I grew this from just a couple of small cuttings and it is growing so well. I really like it in this trough because it kind of makes it more wide, and Marantas have fairly shallow root systems as it is, and so they're perfectly happy kind of crawling along a little bit. But I love these veins, the sort of like electric veins in the dark velvety leaves. So I think this is definitely one of my favorite Marantas. I'm seriously having a Maranta moment right now, and I have just been trying to collect all the Marantas I possibly can, and I've actually succeeded in collecting, I think, most of the ones that are available to me in the UK right now. Next to that, in my face pot, which I just had to turn around because it was facing the wrong way, I have a Hoya Crimson Princess, and I love this thing so much. I grew it from like 2 or 3 very, very small cuttings, and so the fact that it's gotten to this point is absolutely amazing to me. I'm so proud of this plant, and I think it looks nice in the head. It's not ideal for the head, and I wish the head kind of had a more prominent place within my collection, but just for right now, that's not really possible due to space constraints. As you can see, this shelf is very small, and so I can't fit that much in it. But for now, I think it looks really nice, and I love how these little leaves come in pink. It is just so cute, and it just makes me happy because I kind of made this plant from nothing, which was sweet. So back here, I have a Philodendron verrucosum no ID. This is one of the ones I got in a plant swap, and so we aren't exactly sure of the ID. I don't mind though, I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at these velvety leaves. They're just so stunning. And this one, unfortunately, I've had to like chop back a couple times because it's got a bit knocked about. So this kind of stem here and this leaf with this growth point is all new, and I just think it looks really pretty back there. I kind of forget about it back there as well. I mean, I do water the moss pole. It is a bit dry right now, but I'm going to water it before I go on holiday, which I'll be on at this point in the video. At the back here, I have kind of a very special plant. It is a Syngonium albo, which I do really like, but I chalked this one back to absolutely nothing as well. Sorry, I can't really go in there because it's a bit of a tight space, but I chopped it back to nothing as well because it had gone reverted. Like, almost all the leaves were green like this, which is fine, but it's not exactly what I wanted. I did get it in a rescue box, so I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but I was hoping it wouldn't be completely reverted. And it isn't completely reverted. There are still leaves with some albo-ness on them, which is exciting. And I think I'm just going to keep chopping and propping this one until I can get it to the consistency that I like. But it's just another plant that I've literally chopped back to nothing. I feel like I've got a lot of plants in here that I've chopped back to nothing, which is fun. I feel like that's a fun thing. And if you want to see a video of all the plants I've chopped back to nothing and kind of their growth progress, let me know down below if that's something you'd be interested in. Round this side here, I have a Maranta Fantasy or Maranta Light Veins in some pon. This is one that I got from Josie, and it is growing so well. I absolutely love putting my Marantas in pon. I think it gives them the right balance of water and humidity because it kind of evaporates off just with time, and I think it looks really good in pon as well. And I absolutely love these sort of light veins, like even on the backs of the leaves. Like, how freaking cool are those leaves? They're so different, and it's like, compared to the lemon lime, it's just such a different plant, and I think it's pretty crazy that these two things are related, but like so different, but so similar at the same time. I don't know, it's just a bit mental. Down here, we have a little bit of a sad propagation at the minute. I'm sorry, Josie. This is a Philodendron lemon lime, and it's just growing in some moss. It's a little bit sad. I'm hoping it's rooted. Let me pull it out and see. I literally don't see any roots in this container, so maybe it's not, but hopefully it will. If not, I might need to like chop and prop these joints or these nodes and wet stick it. Hopefully that will work, but who knows? For now, it's fine. So also, this shelf gets grow light, so it's getting a decent amount of light. I think this one goes on for 4 or 5 hours in the evening at the minute. Not tons. It could do for more, actually, just because it's a little bit dark in here, but I think it's fine for now. I don't want to have massive electricity bills, because the shelf above it, which I'm about to go show you, also has another grow light, and there's another one on the top as well. So this is properly lit up tower when all these grow lights are on. Also, please ignore this second IKEA cabinet. I know it might be exciting for some of you that I might be getting a second one, but I'm not. I'm actually just holding on to this for Claire, the Jungle Haven, because her birthday's coming up and she's gonna move house soon. And so I found one on Facebook Marketplace that was going for a bit of a reduced price, and I was like, how about we split it and that'll be your birthday and housewarming presents. So I got her a cabinet, a secondhand cabinet, and I might use it to put stuff in while I'm away, but it's not a permanent thing. But it is gorgeous, isn't it? God, I wish I had another cabinet now. Maybe not a big one, but I want another cabinet so badly. Ah! So this shelf is an absolute tangled freaking mess at the minute, and I'm not actually liking how it's looking just because it is so tangled. But the first thing at the front is my green Maranta. This is yet another one that I chopped back to literally nothing, and it has come back with a vengeance. Like, look how big these leaves are. I cut this back the same time as I did the variegated one, and they just grew back so much bigger than they were before. I'm so pleased with how they have grown, and I'm so surprised because I never, like, I think before this I'd never properly cut something back to nothing, like just roots, and seen it pop out. But since then I've done it quite a lot, and it's actually worked really well for me. So I'm really glad I found this sort of process. On this side here, trailing down and up and around and everywhere, getting itself tangled in the plants below it, is a Scindapsus silveran, because it's got these like really crazy super light points, but then it kind of like ombres up to more green at the top. Here's a leaf that's a bit more like green than silver, but I got this one because it had so many almost entirely silver leaves, like at the top here. And it still does, but definitely a lot less. It's getting a lot less light than it was previously, probably at the nursery. So I'm hoping that I can get it to grow more again, but it's not in the ideal spot, and it's grown quite leggy, and like it's just got like this entire stem. How far? Oh my goodness. Oh god. Look how long that is. I really need to chop and prop this because I don't need that. But this is just wrapped around up here. Yeah, I need to wet stick prop that one, I think, now. Behind it, I have a slightly unhappy Cebu Blue. It's not doing terribly. It does have some really big leaves because it used to be climbing on my friend's wall. Like, you can see all these aerial roots here used to be attached to her wall. I need to give it something to climb, or to like properly have a look at it and make sure that it's doing okay, because you can see there's lots of yellowing going on in there. But I'm kind of like semi-rescuing, just got this plant for free because my friend was moving, so I'm gonna try and make it as happy as possible. Maybe I just need to cut it back like I did the other one and let it start over, and then prop these cuttings. Like, as you can see in all of my other tour videos, I have Cebu Blue props literally around my entire house. I have so many Cebu Blues at the minute, and I love it because I love Cebu Blue pothos, but it's quite funny because I just have so many right now. Over here on this side, I have a very dry, I need to water this right after this video, Silver Ann prop. I got this one from my friend as well, but they're not the most silver leaves in the world, which is fine, but I'm gonna try and re-silver it once I get these propagated and rooted and in some slightly better light. At the back there, it's very difficult to show you because it's both going down and going up and around, is my Scindapsus. It's either an Exotica or a Scindapsus Silver Queen. I'm not 100% sure of the idea. It was sold to me as an Exotica, but I think it somewhat has a bit more queeny leaves. But this one was the first plant that I ever put in pon, and it absolutely freaking loves it. Like, it has some huge leaves in there. It did have huge leaves before the pon, but ever since I've kind of like left it to trail, it's gotten a bit smaller. Though I don't know, this leaf is kind of massive, so I can't complain. It is, again, a bit of a tangled mess. Like I said, this whole shelf is, and I kind of stresses me out because I never take these plants off the shelf because I don't want to have to untangle them every time. But at the same time, I should probably take them out and give them a thorough look and maybe prune them and prop some of these cuttings, because it's just got runners on runners on runners, like all over, like everywhere. It's just got more runners. It's just kind of exploded in growth, which is amazing. I love it, but it's gotten a bit intense for me. So the top shelf of the shelves has a grow light here, just one of those gooseneck grow lights. It's a bit more yellow in tone than the ones below it, which are more like white fluorescent ones. But they work just as well, and I think my plants up there are definitely really liking it. You can see the Alocasia frydek is facing towards it a little bit rather than the window, just because it's not that bright in here. I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with this plant. It has hated me more than I've hated it. I've always really loved it. I love how these leaves, they literally look like a cartoon leaf. They look so fake. I think it's because they're velvety, so they're quite matte, and the veins just look like someone drew them on with like whiteout or a pen or something. But ever since I put it in pon, it has gotten a lot happier. It's just in pon in a makeshift self-watering system, so it's in a like normal nursery pot with a reservoir at the bottom, and ever since I've done that, it's gotten so much happier. It's produced like 3 of these really large leaves, and then over there's quite a few more. It's very hard to show the entire thing in one shot just because it's so big at the minute and high up. But I really love this plant, and I'm very happy that I've gotten it to grow happier again, because for a while it was quite unhappy. Back here on a moss pole, sorry it's a little dark as well, is a Piper sylvaticum. This one didn't do anything for ages because I accidentally let it dry out too much. It's just in soil, but I put it on a moss pole and it has slowly started to produce some new growth up there. And I love how the new growth comes in like super silvery and almost a little bit pink. It's just so nice, and the leaves come out really tiny, and hopefully I can get it to grow more. I probably need to put an extension on this pole, to be honest, because it was up to the top of the pole before it started growing, and now it's growing. It needs something to support it. As you can see, it's kind of climbing towards the wall at the minute, which isn't ideal for me, but maybe I'll give it a little bit of a pole extension soon. I've got a tiny little air plant. I still don't know if this plant is dead. I literally never water it. I think I water it maybe once a month at the minute, but it looks like it is still producing a little bit of new growth. You can see that green stuff at the very top. Sorry, it's very hard to focus on this one, but there's like green right at the very top of it, and so I think it's okay. I just ignore it and it's fine, and it just lives on this shelf until it will die, and that's just gonna have to be what it is. I'm actually gonna take these down so I can better show you them. So this here is a jewel orchid. I absolutely love it. I love the super dark velvety leaves with the sort of kind of neon greeny pinky electric veins like running throughout them. I think it's really beautiful, and I love that after it popped out flowers it started growing like new little bits and bobs. And this is like the most common form of jewel orchid. There's so many others that are a bit more expensive and quote-unquote rare. They're not actually rare, they're just more expensive really. But this one seems to be perfectly happy in this room. It doesn't get the most humidity, and I know jewel orchids really like humidity, so I'm very glad that it's doing okay in here. I suppose this room right now is 65%, so that is in theory actually really high. And if I've got my laundry drying in here, it will be getting lots of humidity from that as well. But it's growing pretty well. I like it. I think it's nice and pretty. That's pretty much all. This here, that's also on the top shelf, is a Hoya pubicalix, and it's growing okay. It had a really long runner for a while, and hence why I put it on the trellis, that's what it's called. And it has since produced some more growth, which is really good, but it's not really done much from the top. I don't know if I'm just not keeping it happy or what, but I love splashy Hoyas. This is one of my first splashy Hoyas, and it kind of got me into splashy Hoyas. How many more times can I say splashy Hoyas? Ooh, it's a bit dusty. Maybe I should dust it. Maybe that would make it happier. But I really like it still, and I'm hoping that eventually it'll start growing more. The leaves at the top are facing towards the grow light, so hopefully that is helping as well. But who knows? Hopefully you grow more soon, please. So at the back up there, let me get this down so you can actually see what it looks like. This is a philodendron silver sword. Oh my goodness, it like perfectly matches the color of the table. I like the color of the table. I like the color of this plant. But I got this one as cuttings, and So far it's been growing decently. As you can see, the cutting that I got was quite mature, but the new growth growing in is not as mature. I think I need to put it on some sort of support because it needs to climb. You can see it's trying to climb something. But so far it's doing pretty well and it's pretty happy. I, again, don't really pay attention to this one that much because it's quite an easy care plant. And I think if I put it on a moss pole or something, it'll be a lot happier. So maybe I'll do that when I get back from my holiday. I'm gonna have so many like plant chores to do when I come back from my holiday. All the things I've said in these videos, as well as just like generally taking care of my plants after 2 weeks. I've got a tiny little string of spades propagation just in some water. Eventually I'll put this back into its mother plant, but this mother plant is very, very small and it only has 2 vines itself, so it's gonna be a while before this plant fills out properly. And then at the very top back, I've got my Sansevieria metallica. This is one of my favorite Sansevierias. I'm obsessed with this sort of really light silvery coloring. They're like silver stripes on it, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. So I absolutely love it. I kind of ignore this one as well. I think Sansevierias are great for people who want to be able to ignore their plants a little bit because they don't need as much water or care or humidity or light. Of course they're gonna like it better if they're in a brighter spot, but I'm perfectly happy with mine growing a little bit slower and just being kind of more statues, if that makes sense. That sounds really weird, but I think they're kind of like statues. I think of them like statues. Statues that I have to water very occasionally. I'm actually also going to include this one hallway plant that I have. I've only got one plant in the hallway at the minute. I used to have a second one there, but no longer. And it's just a Calathea rattlesnake. I think it looks really good there. I can't really live without a plant on this table for some reason. I just really like the way it looks. And it's pretty. It's my only Calathea at the minute as well, so that's fun. But I need to figure out something else. I kind of put things on this table on a rotating basis because it doesn't get the most light. It is a hallway by the bedroom, so it doesn't get the most, but it's still absolutely gorgeous and I like how it looks on there. So that is it. That is all of the plants in the office and the one in the hallway. Don't forget to tune in next week when I do the potential final video, depending on whether or not you want to see my prop boxes. Put this emoji down below in the comments if you want to see that, and I can make that happen when I'm back from my holiday. But don't forget to tune in next week when I take you into my bedroom and show you all of the amazing houseplants I have in there. I have a lot of plants in my bedroom. For, I feel like, a small space that is primarily taken up by a bed, I have lots and lots of houseplants in there, and so I'm very excited to show you those next week. And don't forget, if you've not watched the other episodes of my summer 2022 like houseplant tour, they are down below in the description, so go watch those if you haven't already. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!